All right, welcome to another midday live stream, or at least it's the middle of the day where I am. Middle of the trading day in the U.S. I'm Tom. We got George here, a slightly under the weather George. He's playing
under the weather.
He's playing hurt today, so.
And you know what's also making me hurt?
What?
You don't have me up on stream again. Why do you always do this to me?
One,
I did my hair and everything.
3, 4. I'm counting how long the lag is. Oh, it's only 10 seconds.
There you go.
10-second lag. Okay.
Wow. Wow.
Right, the sensors must be standing by.
Go
ready
Cleanspark, go. Aren't you glad you didn't listen to me yesterday about me bitching? Right?
Hey, it's been a frustrating run for Bitfarms and for Cleanspark, but today we seem to be moving in the right direction. This is a very green board. We were over 30,000. We pulled back a little bit in the last few minutes, but we've been as high as last night. We got to 30,457. FV702. Thank you for the super chat. George is under the weather by Wolf. Yes.
Oh, God, that's so funny. Hey, guys. Jeff, though, we got to go right into Cleanspark. I think you guys are right.
Must lead off with Cleanspark. Yes, I forever remain confused by the market's reaction to Cleanspark. And today is no exception. Cleanspark's doing very well. It's up around 10% today. But, and they had a huge announcement. They had a giant announcement. Bitfarms had a small announcement. Riot's in a big fight with the New York Times. So we got a lot going on. If everybody could please do us a giant favor and smash the like button. It helps a lot while the stream is going on. YouTube pushes the stream out to more people, so we get more people to join us to join the conversation. So thank you very much. Hello from the Philippines. Hello. Welcome.
What a day, hon. What start with Cleanspark and then figure out why Bitcoin's over $30,000.
$30,000. How many people thought we'd really get to 30,000? This was 4 weekends in a row where we had a poll. Are we going to get to $30,000? And it was 0 for 4, but we got there. Better late than never. All right, you guys want to talk Cleanspark for starters?
Yes.
All right, give me 30 seconds. Let's just soak it all in for a minute. This board is very green. And this is where we closed yesterday. And remember, yesterday was a nice day. So we're up. And when I say closed, this is where Bitcoin was when the U.S. equity markets closed yesterday. So to compare apples to the Bitcoin miners, we're up over 3% from yesterday.
Sorry, Becky keeps sneezing. Sorry.
Cosmic said, no, I didn't think Bitcoin would reach 30,000. Bitfarms finally above $1. Yeah, let's see. I'd like to see a big push now in Bitfarms. We got to end this fight with $1. It's got no business fighting with $1 right now. So Marathon just crossed 200-week moving average. Bullish. Yeah, Marathon, Riot's on fire. Riot is the largest by market cap, and it continues to lead the way. So, some of these that are up huge today, Cleanspark's up 10%, Riot's up 10%, Iris Energy's up 15%, Gree's up 11%. So, there's big moves. And even the rest of these that, 7%, 5%, 4%. So, very nice looking day. Argo blockchain is up 0.0%. So that is the lagging. That's the lagger on the day. But Bitcoin's way up. Let's just take a look at the market, and then we'll look at our buddies Cleanspark. Okay, so, I mean, it's been pretty sideways for a while. S&P, basically zero. It was green, it was red, now it's about zero. The Dow, up a little. I don't follow the Dow. Does anybody follow the... I'm going to do a poll. Does anybody follow the Dow? NASDAQ is down 0.5%, and the Russell is up 0.44%. So, this is another day. So, this is like 5 days in a row where Bitcoin and the NASDAQ are doing the opposite. So, NASDAQ's down a little bit. Bitcoin's up quite a bit, actually, today. Usually, it's been a little bit one way versus a little bit the other way. This is a big discrepancy. So, I think if you look at those charts over the last week, we'll see. Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin has started its own trajectory here, and we'll see where it goes. But let's go, of course. All right, I'm just going to do this one right here. Cleanspark to double its Bitcoin mining capacity with a $144.9 million expansion deal. So we'll talk about this. The first thing is, I believe, and understand so that everybody knows my position, because this seems to be a really hot button stock. So there's a lot of people that love this stock. There's a lot of people that passionately dislike this stock for various reasons. So that this is one of my high conviction plays. I like what this company is doing, but I continue to be baffled by what the market's reaction is. So they come out today. Cleanspark is doubling their Bitcoin capacity with basically $145 million expansion deal. So they are going to buy 45,000 of the Antminer S19 XPs, which I believe are the 140s. So these are significantly more energy efficient than, version 1 of the S19 or S19J, whatever it was. But in the past, they've been incredibly more expensive. So, $10,000, $12,000, $15,000 per machine. Well, essentially, you'll see they're getting 45,000 of these for $145 million. So that's just over $3,000 a machine. So the price is spectacular. That's the good news. The tough news to me is they just committed to spending $145 million. They don't have $145 million. The number one thing that people complain about with this company is that they're afraid they're going to dilute. And now here they're just telling you they're going to spend $145 million that they don't have.
They're going to dilute.
And what happens? The stock is on fire. Just so you guys know, the stock's up 11% today. From January 1st through yesterday, the stock was only up 20% on the year. It's up 11% today. So maybe you guys can explain to me in the comments section. I mean, I like what they're doing. This is exactly what they said they were going to do. So this meets expectations like dead on, in my opinion. So it's not a surprise to me. But if everybody has been pushing down the price of Cleanspark because they're afraid they're going to dilute, well, guess what? I mean, this is only a $200 million market cap company, and they've just said they're going to spend $145 million. That's what
my question is, when do you dump it? Right?
I know this is one of your big positions, and you want to make some money and get out of this. So
I think you gotta.
So if you're timing this, I do think there's going to be fluctuations. I think this stock is still way underpriced. So, before obviously that's my opinion. Time will tell. But I think this has a lot of room to the upside. I mean, I think at $3, Cleanspark fighting with $3 is totally ridiculous. This leaves them in the $200 million market cap range, which makes no sense. This is a company that we'll get into this press release, but essentially they're saying, their goal by the end of the year was to get to 16 exahash, and everybody, myself included, was scratching my head a little bit going, you know what, I can see them growing and growing. I'm not sure how they're going to get to 16 exahash. Well, with this purchase order in this press release, they now have either they own, have paid for, or have purchased ordered 15.9 exahash worth of machines. So, effectively, they are there. Now, there's an awful lot that has to happen between now and then before those machines are paid for, delivered, installed, and hashing. So, they're not at the finish line yet, but here's their plan that they said. They've been saying this plan for many, many months. And now here's the purchase order that gets them to where they said they were going. So, in that regard, I mean, this should have been exactly what everybody was expecting. For me, I thought they would do this more incrementally. It looks to me like they got a deal on these XPs that it was an offer they couldn't refuse, and they're grabbing them. And they're to their 16 exahash. I believe we'll read, but I think every one of these is going to Georgia, to one of the existing facilities. They still do have to do some build out on those facilities to get them prepared to run this many machines.
I just think it's going to be a bumpy road to get to the $15 and $20 mark with this. I mean, obviously, long term we'll be fine, I would imagine, but I just think it's going to be a very bumpy road.
Well, I think that's a very fair statement. I think both in CleanSpark, the Bitcoin miners, and in Bitcoin, there's volatility coming at us this year. I mean, we're in the middle of an extremely volatile run to the upside. So, I'm happy about that, and I imagine most people on this live stream are happy about that, but it is volatility. So, when we get volatile one way, at some point in the future, expect our ups and downs and bumps in the road. We've done a lot of kind of going up in a straight line. We had one little pullback that looked like we were going to have our correction in Bitcoin, but then all the banks ran into trouble and people fled to Bitcoin, which is something new. So that was a big positive change. So I see a lot of stuff changing.
I hope so.
FV702, I like bumpy roads if it takes me to a new
GTR.
That's the goal, a new Nissan GTR.
Those are nice.
Okay,
I'm a truck guy.
Cosmic Contrarian said, Tom, is this buy associated with the earlier 20K miners purchased? So that is a great question. And the answer to that is no. So they, a few months ago, and my time frame might be off by, a month or whatever, but recently they announced they were buying 20,000 machines. And those machines are 100% paid for now. So in addition to the 6.7 exahash that they have running right now, they have paid for another 20,000 machines, which essentially is going to be about 2 exahash. So that's done and paid for. So with what they have up and running, plus the 20,000 they already bought, plus these 45,000, that's going to get them to 15.9. But that is the reason that I said, and what do I do with this article?
What article?
What? So CleanSpark doubles its Bitcoin mining capacity. They're using a little bit of fuzzy math on this because they're at 6.7 right now, and they're buying another, 6.9. So they're saying we're doubling our exahash, but in reality, there is these other 20,000 machines that are already bought and paid for that are going to get them to 9 exahash. So, and then this will get them from 9 exahash. Once those are installed, they'll be at 9, and then this purchase gets them from 9 to 15.9. And their goal is 16.
So will they mature then at that point in time and stop raising funds this way, or do you...
I think that they already backed off because initially they were talking about getting to 22.1 exahash in the year 2023, and there was one particular facility that kind of unraveled, and they said, listen, we're going to back off a little, but we're doing 16. And that was many months ago. So once they did that, it was prior to year end. They committed to 16 exahash. They have not changed their mind since. It's going to be all they can do to get these 16. they are talking about in this, and they continuously talk about, listen, this is going to bring them right up to the halving. So I don't think there's a gigantic plan after this. I don't think they're looking to get from 16 to 32 right away. I think they feel like they need to be somewhere in this 16 exahash neighborhood when the halving comes, so that they'll probably be the second or third largest miner by exahash. That does not include Core Scientific. So we'll see if Core Scientific comes out of bankruptcy by then. You've got Core Scientific, you've got Marathon, and you've got Riot, and you've got CleanSpark. Those four are so far ahead of everybody else, just operationally speaking. I'm not talking about strength of balance sheet, number of Bitcoin hodled, all those other things. I'm just strictly talking about operationally speaking. Those four companies, if you include Core Scientific, are going to mine probably double the fifth largest company.
I have a question, Tom, and I was thinking about this the other night. Why doesn't somebody come in like a Elon Musk and buy Core and just buy it, buy the whole thing?
If I'd rather buy CleanSpark, because
you think so?
Yeah, because CleanSpark's market cap, now they're not going to sell themselves for $200 million, but their market cap, and this number is not always exactly completely up to date, but this says 233 million, and that's about right. And they're going to be at 16 exahash with little to no debt. When you buy Core Scientific, you've got $1 billion in debt you still have to deal with. Yes, they're going to restructure it.
Couldn't you negotiate that out and get, what I mean, and buy it for? I could imagine it could be bought for around 400 million.
So, if you could buy out all that debt for 400 million, and then how much is the company worth on top of that? So, you're at somewhere 600, 800 million, $1 billion to go buy Core Scientific. And, it would be hard if shareholders were offered $6 a share right now on CleanSpark, even though pretty much most of the long-term shareholders think it's going way past that, the board would have a duty to very seriously consider an offer, and that would only be, maybe $460 million.
Oh, really? Okay.
And again, that gets you to 16 exahash.
Right.
Now, and Core Scientific, by the way, is at 16.1 exahash. So don't be surprised if CleanSpark isn't mining more than Core Scientific by the end of this year. They may be mining more than everybody by the end of this year. That is a extremely legitimate possibility.
Should I tell everybody I went all in on CleanSpark? Oh wait, I just did.
Too late.
I went all in on CleanSpark, so it better do well. I just get nervous when I hear you're gonna have to raise a little money.
Well, here's the thing. And it's already priced in. CleanSpark, they were not shy about this. In fact, it's in the first or second sentence of every operational report. We're getting to 16 exahash. We're going to continue to grow. They told us at the beginning of the year their CapEx was going to be like $250 million. So, we knew before January 1st started, they planned on spending somewhere in excess of $250 million in capital expenditures to get to where they want to go this year. So none of this is a surprise, but now it's actually happening.
Well, there's a reason why I didn't diversify. I get too nervous. Not gonna lie. You know that?
FV702 said, take my CleanSpark at $12. And Jeff,
I would love $12.
Jeff is saying, and CleanSpark will do it close to the most efficient. So there's 3 or 4 that actually now, probably there's 5 now that stand out. I think that are going to be, the top 5 most efficient, and CleanSpark I think is going to be one of those. So they're going to be one of the biggest. They're going to be one of the most efficient. So these are all good things. And by the way, understand, CleanSpark, which is probably going to, be competitive all year with Marathon and Riot from a production standpoint. They may beat both of them this year, but they're certainly going to be competitive with both of them this year. Those are both $1.5 billion companies. This is a $200 million company. So now, they both have a stack of Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Their balance sheets are stronger. There should be some discrepancy between the two of them. But should they be, 7 or 8 times the market cap of CleanSpark? I think a year from now, that is not how this is going to look at all. And people are going to be scratching their head that at one point, let's go. Let's look at Riot. Riot's almost $2 billion right now. It's almost 10 times the size of CleanSpark, and they're probably going to mine roughly the same amount of Bitcoin next month. Now, that doesn't mean they're equal. There's a lot of reasons why Riot, in my opinion, is worth more than CleanSpark. It's not worth 10 times CleanSpark. It's not worth twice CleanSpark, in my opinion. That's how far off these are. And oh, by the way, I think Riot's undervalued. So, Riot is my number one overall. So I've showed you guys my top 8 I made coming into 2023. Riot was my number one overall pick for the year 2023. So I like Riot. I still think they got a lot of room to the upside. I think at $2 billion, they're still underpriced. But my point being, if they're underpriced at $2 billion, then what do we think of CleanSpark at $230 million? So could this 10x? A lot of people, you talk about 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years before companies 10x. I mean, if Bitcoin has a run, this could, could they be a $2 billion company a year and a half from now? I don't think that's at all unreasonable.
2 billion, 3 billion.
I mean, it depends. Every dollar Bitcoin goes up right now makes such a big difference because it has broken out of this range where these companies have to be mindful. Are we losing money by mining Bitcoin? At Bitcoin 17,000, 18,000, 20,000, 22,000, based on what your power purchase agreements are, at any given moment, you may be paying more in power than you were to mine Bitcoin. Well, that's off the table now at 30,000. And if it's off the table at 30,000, then imagine at 40,000 and 50,000 and 60,000. So things just get exponentially better. It's not actually exponentially better, but they get significantly better the more Bitcoin goes up. So it's not a 1-to-1 ratio at all.
I just get nervous. I hate losing money. It's like the worst thing.
You're making big money today. I don't know. I think you're a tad bit under the weather, and perhaps got you down. This is one of your best days.
I'm saying, I agree, but you know what I'm saying. I'm down overall.
You're down overall, but you don't lament that on a day where you're up huge.
I do. I just can't.
You are in charge of your own happiness, George.
Oh yeah, this is true.
That's
whiskey shot. Yep, that's mantra. What I need.
Whiskey shot for George.
Would be my first one I've ever had. How about that?
Oh, that's true. George does not drink, and I've known George since we were kids. So I've not monitored him 24 hours a day, 7 days a week since then. But I think I can safely say
the most I ever drank was with you, Tom.
And that was like 30 years ago.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Well, have you drank more than 4 times in your whole life?
Probably not. About that. Probably about 4 times.
Jeff said, Tom, a run to 47 to 53,000 is definitely in the cards. Then retrace before the ultimate bull run in late 2024. So, George, that's the answer you're looking for. What Jeff is thinking, and I think there's starting to be a little bit of consensus around this, which is either a good thing or a bad thing, because usually whatever we think is going to happen doesn't end up happening. But I think that people feel like we're going to get a nice solid run up. We're nowhere near done with this run, and then a big correction. So, you know, is it between 47 and 53,000? That would be awesome. I mean, you're going to see these stocks do some monumental things if we get even just $47,000.
Well, somebody said on this, it was in the chat, I think it was to us personally, Bitcoin's going to 52 to 53,000.
52 to 53, and yeah, and that, so Jeff's saying 47 to 53, then 29 would fit perfectly in line with the previous cycles. And that 29 line, I got my solid line at 28.8. So it would be nice if, you know, if we had a big retracement, if this line could hold, that would be crucially important, because I do think if we were to go, you know, if we were to run up and then go below this long-term line of support that turned into resistance, that's hopefully now turning into support, that then I'd be worried. Then all bets are off. But I do think we'll hold this. I think we're still on the way up, but not in a straight line. And we've been kind of going in a straight line for a little while now. So I'll go to the 1 day. It hasn't been exactly a straight line, but if I go, so this was the bottom, November 21st. So we went sideways for a long time. We went up huge. We had a little pullback, up big. This is where I think we were going to have a bigger pullback. I think we had crossed the line and we were about to head to lower points. And this was the day, what is it, SVB or whatever it is, that first bank failed. And then all of a sudden there was a banking panic. And all of a sudden people started taking their money out of the bank, and some of that money started going into Bitcoin. And you can see we had immediate massive run to the upside. Then we consolidated, and that's what we've been talking about on this channel for weeks and weeks, that it's been my opinion this has been very healthy consolidation. All the technicals have been kind of neutral, which also is good in a consolidation, and I thought the next move would be the upside, and now that has happened. So now we got to assess. Now I got to think about where the next move is. It feels like we're going to keep going up, but by the same token, I will tell you this. Let me zoom in. This yellow line right here, and I hope I didn't jinx all of us. When we get to this yellow line, which we are now, we're 2.3% away from this line. When we hit this, Bitcoin will have officially gone up 100% in what, you know, depending on when we hit it, in somewhere around 4 months. So that's a double. That's, I mean, if that's not a bull run, if that's not a bull market, I mean, up 100% is not a rally. That's more than a rally. Now, so that doesn't mean it's going straight.
Does that mean I got to finally call it a bull market?
I mean, we're up 95%. It's pretty hard to argue that this isn't a bull market. That doesn't mean it's going to last forever. And again, I do think there's a lot of volatility ahead. I think you guys agree with me. You know, Jeff's theory about getting up to 47 to 53 and then maybe retracing back to 29,000. I would buy that. I would take that all day long. I think that's a possibility. FV702 says, so are we doing a party at Bitcoin 100K? Open bar? Yes. That sounds like a great idea.
I like was it
BYOB?
Yeah, BYOB.
Well, everybody's going to be able to afford to bring their own bottle at Bitcoin 100,000. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I think I do need a sandwich. But anytime I eat, you guys yell at me for eating on the stream.
Eat a sandwich if that's going to make you happy.
No, I don't think it will make me happy.
Eat a sandwich, have some candy.
Tom, we have 104 people watching and only 40 likes.
Yes, that's crazy. So we stand a chance today. Today could be our breakout day. If everybody could do us a favor and smash the like button, maybe we can finally break through this spot that YouTube keeps getting us stuck right around this number. So today's a new high for the year of 2023 for Bitcoin. So let's have it be a new high for our live stream. thank you everybody for joining us, by the way, and thanks to there's a lot of members with us right now on the live stream, so thank you very much for being members and supporting the channel. It's much appreciated. I did, for members, just so that you know, and it's being edited as we speak, I did do, so for the members once a week, and it's actually today after the market closes, we do a members only live stream, and on that live stream the members pick some stocks, and then we do a vote, and they pick which stock they want me to do a deep dive on. So,
2 in one day?
Yeah.
Oh my.
So I have in the middle of this, I did company stock ticker BROS, Bros. So that was selected by Jeff. So that video is done and waiting. It's just I edit on the same machine I live stream. So, I gotta wait. Gotta wait until we're done with this. But that video will be out today for those of you who are members. For those of you who are not members, if you are interested, I think I just put a link in. Oh, and then an Autobot put a link in there too. So I think those are the same exact link. You can join the live stream. We do have a member. It's right. We left it right on YouTube. So right on YouTube, right next to the subscribe button, there's a join button. Members get once a week members only live stream where they pick a video, where they pick a stock for me to do a deep dive on. In addition to that, we have a lot of content that's for members only of all the deep dives I've done and some other videos. So there's a lot of content ready and waiting for you. And lastly, we have a members only Discord that I am active in on a daily basis regularly. So you're welcome to join us for all of those. FV702, thank you for the super chat. And he says, smash the like and join the club. Thank you. FV702. Much appreciated. Go. No, this one's not brought to you by Wolf.
No.
Well, I'll give Wolf a shout out for you. I mean, see, it's funny. This is what happens. Wolf is, and I think this is very healthy. Wolf is sideways today. It's been on a tear. And a lot of times on those types of days when everything goes up, the stocks that have been on the biggest runs, they sometimes lag behind, sometimes have red days. So to me, if this stays in the green today, that's going to be another positive day for Wolf. Remember, they were worried about whether or not they were going to get back over $1. So, they flew past $1 yesterday. They're hanging out at $1.17. So step one for me on Wolf is they're in the middle. This is day 2, I think, of their 10 days in a row that they need to stay above $1.
Does the weekends count?
It's got to be 10 trading days in a row.
I was hoping.
That'd be nice. It's not that much to ask, and I think it's highly likely. It's certainly not a given. You never know what Bitcoin's going to do, but Wolf is now at $1.17, and I think it still has room to run. So, you guys got to decide and do your own due diligence because there's a lot of different Bitcoin mining stocks. They all have a different way they're going about this. And so, I diversify a little bit because I do have a disproportionate amount of my investing in the Bitcoin miners. So I have a bunch of them. But I did pare that down. Last year, there was a time where I had 8 or 9 Bitcoin miners. I pared that way down when things started to get ugly, and I chose what I thought was best of breed. Eric, welcome. Eric saying Cleanspark bought 45K miners. We'll get back to that press release. We started to dig into that, and we'll talk some more because we didn't go through the details. But yeah, that was a massive $145 million purchase order. Todd Sweeney said, Riot to Mars, Cleanspark to Pluto. We'll take it.
I'm looking at the 10K challenge. I wish I wouldn't have, but I did.
Well,
Woo!
You got to look at it from two perspectives. You got to look at it from January 1st, 2023, because 2022 is behind us, and it was a disaster. It was an absolute disaster.
Down 70%.
Right, but what are we up from January 1st? That's the only way you can.
What are we up from January? Oh my goodness.
Oh, I bet we're up 60 or 70 or 80% from January 1st.
It was that bad?
Yeah.
So do you
We're
think
coming up on pulling the double on that.
I'm going to put you on a limb. Do you think this will go over $10,000 if you leave it the way it is? We're in CleanSpark, we're in HUT, we're in Bitfarm, we're in Curiosity Stream.
I would make a few changes to this, but for the most part, yes. I've lost some confidence in Curiosity Stream. I thought that would have already been bought by somebody else, and it has not been yet. And the streaming thing is not going, and it's a smaller position, but the streaming thing is not going the way I thought it was going to go. So all the rest of those, yeah, I mean, 3 of those are Bitcoin miners, and you know we're at the beginning of the journey for these things, in my opinion. So yeah, this should get back to where
we got May 19th, $1.50 calls on Bitfarm.
Yes, I do very few options, but right, those could pay off. I wish actually that I had doubled down on those, but I kind of just let it be to see what it was going to do. I personally have a lot of those. So I tell you guys that, you know, mostly I'm buy and hold. So the vast majority of what I do is buy the actual stock and hold it through its ups and downs. And in 2022, that was a very painful process. But I do play options and either buy or sell them depending on where we're at in the cycle. And I have been accumulating the May 19th, 2023 $1.50 strike point for Bitfarms. I've been accumulating those for a while now, and I have a fairly significant number of those at this moment. So we'll see what happens. So go Bitfarms. That's sneaking right up. I mean, that's a month and a half, I guess. Not even. It's just a little over a month away. Yeah, 1 month and 1 week from now. That's 5 weeks from now. So, you know, those were about 6 months out when I started buying them, and now they're just over 1 month out. Darren said Stronghold is next to cross $1. Let's see what Stronghold's doing today. 76 cents, almost 77. So it's on its way. Yeah, I feel confident. AD is asking me, what are your thoughts about any? So I'm probably going to do a members only video for any, because I think most of the world doesn't care that much about any, which is Sphere 3D. But I have positive thoughts about any. I like that stock. It's not one of the ones that I own right now, but I'll do a deep dive on that. I'm gonna have good things to say about it. Let's put it that way. It's still got some risk involved. Obviously, all of these have risk involved. They still have to do a lot of execution between now and the time they're getting to where they're going. But I think they're back on a good path, and they were a disaster. I don't mind saying that company was just a disaster, you know, a year ago. It was just about a year ago where they really started to just melt down and start with the crazy talk. For those of you who know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. They had some press releases that were, we called them out. I made a video 15 minutes after that press release and called BS on it.
I actually found the people on, what was that? On LinkedIn, right?
Yeah.
And I started text messaging them immediately. Guess what? They never responded.
Go figure. Are they?
Because we wanted it to be true. We wanted that to be true.
There's just, you guys can watch my video. It's a year old now. It's water under the bridge. And Eni is a totally different company at this point. At that point, they were going to merge with Griffin. They were going to buy these Gatorade machines that were, you know, 1,000 times better than the best machine ever made in history. And they were going to be at 32. That part's an exaggeration. This part is not. They put out a press release that they were getting to 32.4 exahash in 2022. So obviously they fell short of that. I think they ended the year at 0.1 exahash. So needless
Missed it
to
by that much.
just missed it by that much. That's right. So having said all that, they've made massive changes, and I'm encouraged by what they're doing.
And I will tell you that I did talk to the CEO of that Any.
Oh, that's right. George communicated.
Yeah. I mean,
The new CEO, when not
yeah,
that new anymore, but
she's a nice person. That's all I can say about that at this point in time.
Jeff is asking for a sneak peek bros comment. Let me think. What can I say without it being a spoiler alert? Let's just say I can't wait until they get to where I am, and they're far away. They're expanding. They have monumental expansion plans. But the reason that I want them to get to where I am is they have a drink called the 911. I think it's what else is in there? I don't even remember what else they put in it to make it taste good, but it's 6 shots of espresso. So,
but can I say a comment, Tom?
Go ahead, absolutely.
My comment is, why don't they sell black coffee?
Yeah, that is the other bizarre thing. So I'm guessing if you made a fuss, you could get a cup of coffee, but I scoured their menu at great length, and it's a coffee place, but and while they sell their own brand of coffee, a cup of coffee's not on the menu. So I'm just saying, like, if you want to walk in, hey, I just want a black cup of coffee, that's not on the menu. So I don't know whether you could get it or not when you're in there, but it is not on the menu, and I looked and I looked. Because right now, that's what I'm drinking. Black coffee, which sometimes with shots of espresso in it when I can. But I will tell you, there is some good stuff there. That place has some good-looking drinks. They also have their own proprietary energy drink. Most of what they do is cold, but they do serve, you have the option to get hot for some of them. So that's my sneak peek on Bros. I think that one's definitely worth seeing. And that will be out by the end of the day today for members.
Where is the price point compared to, like, say, Starbucks? Are they about the same?
No, Starbucks is $100 billion company. Starbucks, there is no second place to Starbucks. They own the space. These guys are just they have 627 stores as of December 31st, 2022. I won't tell you what their plans are going forward because you got to watch the video to see, but yeah, I mean they're a very small, tiny fraction of what Starbucks is. But Starbucks is one of the biggest companies, They're one of the biggest companies in the world. As hard as that is to believe. For coffee. And I'm off of my Starbucks, but I did get the most potent cup of coffee that I could find anywhere, if you want to call it coffee, is a triple venti mocha at Starbucks, which is 4 shots of espresso. So that used to be my drink every single day. And
every day?
The problem with it is there's so much sugar in there that it's like, yeah, I'm getting my 4 shots of espresso, but I bet you there was 500 or 1,000 calories in that thing, and not the good kind. And pretty much in a cup of black coffee, there's somewhere around 0 calories. It might be 0. So I switched to black coffee for health reasons. Let's see. Organic Auto said, I think the pain we all experienced in 2022 has made us tougher and more resilient traders. So hopefully for those of you who are left here, I mean, you are the few, the proud, because most people have ditched this space a long time ago, and they will probably FOMO back in, after everything's already. Remember, almost all the Bitcoin miners have already at least doubled. Some have tripled or quadrupled from their lows. So, and we're still not even to the point where people are FOMOing into them. So A lot of these are going to 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x before they even start to get FOMO. You know, there's DigiHost, which is up 2.5% today, but they're up 300 and something percent off of their actually from the beginning, from January 1st, 2023. They're up over 300%. So is Cypher. And so is Core Scientific. And Core Scientific's up 10% today. Let's see what Cypher's doing. Cypher's up 5.5% today. So those are strong. Those are strong moves. We are near our highs on the day today. We're at $30,233. So this is very strong. This is the 4-hour. Let's go. Let's zoom in. Yeah, I mean we're pretty darn close to our highs on the day. I think I thought there would be even one more run up from here today. So I'm not ruling that out. Now, conversely, we could pull back before the end of the day because that oftentimes, the end of the day sell-off type of situation. So we'll have to wait and see. But if we can break out, we've done some consolidation here. This isn't a long time, but this was, 12 hours ago. So super, super healthy. I'm way behind in the chat. Robert. Oh, welcome, Robert. Welcome, Work Obsession. Hello to everybody. I didn't say hello. Hello, JD. JD said, sugar and cream gives you stinky breath. Black coffee is the best way. I'm converted now, so I'll never go back because I don't really. Here's the thing. I'm not a huge fan of coffee under any circumstance. It's just a delivery system for caffeine for me. So, I didn't even adding all the sugar and everything into it, it still really wasn't necessarily my favorite drink. So I might as well just drink it black and get the caffeine. Also, I've read several articles. I am not a doctor, nor do I play one on this channel, and this is not medical advice, but I've read several articles that say black coffee is good for your heart. So I can't confirm that. You guys can research that on your own.
It is? It's good for your heart?
That is what they say.
What if you don't have a heart?
Everybody has a heart.
Oh, okay.
For your
See, told you so.
For your actual heart, not your
So, here's my next question. Let's just play hypothetically.
Let's do it.
If we get to 100,000 Bitcoin.
Yes.
How much do these companies go up?
I mean, I think it depends on the company, but I think though
Is that just a 3x or a 4x?
There may be some that only 3x from here. That would be very disappointing results. There will be some that 10x from here. There might be some that do more than that. And it depends. Now, I don't think, Riot and Marathon are already, between 1.5 and $2 billion market cap. They're not going to 10x. But, stuff like CleanSpark at $200 million, even Hive has a pretty low market cap. But if you go lower, some of these small ones, and if they can survive, Argo, I won't even say Argo. That's not one I feel great about, just my personal opinion. But Stronghold, Mawson, DigiHost, Any, it's a pretty easy path to 10x for them. So I would expect those nano cap stocks to potentially 10x in that scenario, maybe more. I mean, these are those companies I just mentioned are $20 million, $30 million companies. I mean, they are nano cap stocks. That is exceptionally, for those of you who don't know, and most of you do know because we have a lot of experienced people on the channel, $20 million isn't even a micro cap stock. It's a nano cap stock. That is about as small as you can possibly get. Charlie P said, "Have you tried caffeine pills?" I used to do long time ago. I used to just do caffeine pills. I don't know why. It makes me feel better to just drink the coffee to get the caffeine. Maybe there's no logic to that. I did read some articles that it's good for your heart. So again, don't rely on what I'm saying, but that is another one of the reasons that I do it. And it's a habit, and it's just a part of like my association with being awake now. So could be potentially partially placebo effect as well. Mark Burke said, "Back to the 100K party. Everyone throw in a couple grand and have a big party in Florida." I'm in. I think everybody's going to be a happy camper if Bitcoin gets to 100K this year. I feel very strongly that 100K is, from a long-term standpoint, I think it's going to go well beyond that. But are we a year away from that? Are we 5 years away from that? I don't know. But if we were to have a run like that this year, I mean, the one reason I think it's possible is absolutely nobody sees that coming. Nobody has called for that. Everybody has called for the opposite. So, you know, that's what Bitcoin tend to does. Whatever you think is happening, whatever we all think is happening, it does its own thing. So a run. So Charlie's saying Bitfarms to all-time high is 10x. Yeah, I mean, Bitfarms could 10x. Bitfarms only up to, it's over $1 today. This is the third time it's gotten back over $1. The last two times, I think it spent 6 days over $1 and then 5 days over $1 and then went below. I'd like to see it. I mean, it is ridiculous that we are now at Bitcoin $30,000 and Bitfarms is still messing around near $1. There's a big gap. Bitfarms, in my opinion, Bitfarms should gap up from here and put $1 in the rearview mirror. But we'll see what happens. Martin said, if you like making money, join the membership. Thank you, Martin. Much appreciated. Martin is a member, and we do have a members-only live stream today after the market closes. So I will see the members on that one. Austin said, tea is nice for caffeine. I did buy some nice, like, heavy caffeinated tea that I like. So I do that sometimes in the afternoon. And Charlie P is saying, Bitfarms shouldn't lag once it breaks free from this $1 range. So that's exactly, I agree exactly with that. This fight over $1 is suppressing Bitfarms, in my opinion. And once that battle is lost, there's a big gap above that I think they will close quickly. That's my opinion. But in the meantime, they are fighting like crazy to keep this in the neighborhood of $1 and under $1. But I don't, at Bitcoin $30,000, I just don't think it's realistic that they're going to win that fight. Let's look at their chart. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in on the 1 day just to put this in perspective. And this is why I'm saying they're grossly oversold right now. This blue line was February of 2023. So it's now April of 2023. This is 2 months ago. 2 months ago, Bitcoin was at $25,000. Bitfarms was at $1.22. Bitcoin is now at $30,000. So that's substantially higher. It's now 2 months later, so you can't say, like, times have changed, things have changed, the business model's changed. Nothing's changed for Bitfarms. If anything, they continue to have excellent monthly operational reports, yet they are down. Just to get back to where they were when Bitcoin was at $25,000, they got to go up 17 or 18%. And really, this line, this is August of 2022. That was the previous time that Bitcoin hit $25,000. So again, we are above that by far right now. So that's 124% run up to get there. That's why I say I do think, you know, once we get out of this little struggle. I think there's a breakout to the upside. I really do. And we're inching there. I mean, even just 3 or 4 trading days ago, you would have thought, man, Bitfarms is never going to get back to $1. And we're at $1.04 right now. So we're already there. We just got to take that next leg up. But you can see, I mean, somebody make the argument why Bitfarms was worth more 2 months ago than it is today. I mean, Bitcoin's on fire, and they're one of the they're the 4th largest miner of Bitcoin out of all the Bitcoin mining companies in the month of March. So they're the 4th largest miner of Bitcoin. They mined 424 Bitcoin. Their debt is almost paid in full. They've paid it down like 85%. I mean, they're a much, much, much stronger, healthier company than they were. I would argue right here is one of the times I was most worried about this company. Their debt was peaking at this time, and Bitcoin was not doing well. It did run up. So in August, it ran up to 25, and then we had that giant rundown. This thing got down to 37 cents. So Bitfarms' journey has been crazy. Charlie P saying, I feel like 80K is more reasonable for Bitcoin. So I could see 80K. I think, you know, just hitting our all-time high. If we can get to 70K, we break through our all-time high. So we could just get a run straight off of that. We're a long way from that. You know, we just crossed 30,000. So I hate to get too far ahead of ourselves. We got a long way to go. But so now we don't have to do a poll. Is Bitcoin going to get to $30,000? Because it's there. So now just doing a quick poll. I'm just giving 2 choices. So which one do you think is going to happen first? So what is Bitcoin's next move? And I put, since we're at about 30,000 right now, can we make a run and get to 35,000, or are we going to go back and retest that 25,000 is a significant line of support. So that's why I chose that line. And let me just go back to the we'll go to the 1 day. But so this is the $25,200 line. That is a very, very strong line of support. So I do think if we have a pullback, I'm expecting this to hold. And I don't think it's out of the question that we could bounce off of this. I mean, I'm hoping not, but you know, you can't say that's out of the question and unreasonable. Or have we broken out? Have we broken out to the upside? I mean, this is a massive run up. You can see we are inching close. This is, so I've kind of written a note here. This line right here, we talked about earlier, there's a yellow line at $30,920. If Bitcoin can get to that line, then it will have doubled. It will be up 100% from late November of 2022. So somewhere in maybe a 4 or 4.5 month window, there's a chance that we pulled a double on Bitcoin. So this is one of the things we've always talked about through the crypto winter. You know, these moves down are brutal. This was in a lot of ways, I think this is the worst crypto winter we've ever had. Strictly by percentage, it wasn't, but by a lot of other measures, this was a deeper, darker crypto winter for Bitcoin and the altcoins than the others have been in the past. But you know, it gives you the opportunity, if you're dollar cost averaging in, you know, we're on the verge of a double. How long is it going to be before the S&P 500 doubles? I mean, they're just not comparable. So there's no, how long is it going to be before gold doubles? How long is it going to be before silver doubles? There are other things out there that could have big, big runs up. Silver actually does have some outside chance of having a gigantic run to the upside, in my opinion. But it would be, you know, a historic run if it were to double. For Bitcoin, it's doubled. and it still needs to double again to still not even get back to its all-time highs from 2021. So there is a lot of room to the upside. But, you know, as always, for an asset that's doubled in a maybe 4 or 5 month window of time, you always got to worry that potentially there's a pullback somewhere. So that can be vicious. When you're up 100%, you know, a 30% pullback isn't a big deal. All right, we're at 75 likes. Let's see if we can get back to 100. I don't know what happened. We were getting 100 likes on every live stream, and this is our third one in a row where we're not on pace, but we could be. So if you can, smash the like button. Scott is saying, "Hi Tom, sold my wolf too early, letting MicroStrategy and Riot run." Yeah, MicroStrategy's run is massive, and I am doing a MicroStrategy video this week for everybody. That one's not members only. So they're on a massive run. Riot is on a massive run. Riot is the one stock. I'm going to go to this chart. I believe it is the only one. Let me check Marathon first, and that'll be our, yeah, see. So I've got a green line on every single one of the Bitcoin mining charts. This is last August. This is the last time Bitcoin was at $25,000. So it hit $25,000 in August of 2022. It hit $25,000 again in February of 2023. And now we're at $30,000. So you can see all the rest of these charts look like this. Marathon right now, which is finally above, it's one of the few that's even above its February number. So it's doing better than average. But it still would need to go up almost 90% to get back to where it was last August. So almost every single, I believe every single Bitcoin miner with the exception of one, which is Riot. Riot is now past where they were last August of 2022. And nobody else is. Let's look at Cypher, because Cypher's had a monster run. So Cypher, well, they're right on the line. And Cypher is up, we know, hopefully some of you experienced this, Cypher's run from the bottom to where they are today. I mean, that's a 600% run up in 4.5 months. No, sorry, 3.5 months. So that's an amazing run up. So Cypher today is the first day it's gotten back to this. So those are the only two. So Riot is now way past this. But you'll see, like CleanSpark's down here. This is that same line. So I have this green line everywhere. So you'll see, look how far away, in order for CleanSpark to do what Riot has already done, CleanSpark would have to go up 128%. So Riot's already blew through that. Now, Riot's one of the better performers this year. And Cypher now finally has gotten to that. But even, you know, some of these are still way off. If you look at Iris Energy, it's down here at $3.80. It was at almost $7 last August. So, you know, it's got to almost double to get to where it was. So this is something, you know, and a lot of things have happened since last August. So I understand company by company, you got to really follow the evolution of what has that company done in addition to what has Bitcoin done, what has the Bitcoin network done. But you can see Riot is an example of a company, and they're a bigger market cap. So in my mind, it should have been harder for them. They've already gone past where they were last August, which makes sense to me. So many of these companies, in my opinion, are so much stronger of a company, bigger, better, stronger balance sheets, Bitcoin's at a higher number, and yet they're lagging behind. And you can say, well, maybe they were overvalued here. But the thing is, this price here was deep into a crypto winter already. So it's not like this was some overblown price. All I'm trying to get back to is a price that they were at in the middle of the crypto winter. So that is why I believe so strongly that there's a lot of upside if you pick the right stock inside of here, you know, and Bitcoin can do its thing. It just seems like there's an awful lot of upside left for a lot of these Bitcoin miners. Let's go back to the, so we're hanging around, you know, near the highs since we've opened, but we're hanging around over 30,200. The Bitcoin miners seem to be hanging around in the same spot. So not too much has changed since the beginning of this live stream, but we've held our position.
What's this big money going into big miners?
Well, let's hope so. Let's hope institutional money is starting to move in. I mean, that process has only just begun. Obviously, that is Riot and Marathon got a big jump on everybody. They were the first two to trade on the NASDAQ by a mile. They're the biggest two by market cap. They're the two most adopted by institutional investors, including BlackRock, so as well as others.
Did you talk about the CPI and if anything bad happens, does anything good happen to Bitcoin?
So CPI tomorrow. So to me, I think unless CPI is an outlying number, I don't think it's, if there is an impact, I'll say this. Well, hold on. Let me go to the chart. Let's regroup for a second here. Okay, so you can see this was last June we peaked. So we've been going, CPI has been going down every single month since last June. It was 6 in February. The consensus for March is 5.2%. So expectations are high that this number is going to be low. Yesterday we kind of did a poll. Most people on the poll, I think over 80% of the people on our poll thought we were going to fall somewhere between 5.2 and 5.5%. I think that's the safety zone. I think if we're anywhere in there, we basically matched expectations. Even if we're a little bit above consensus, even 5.5, that's still a 0.5% down. That's one of the biggest move down out of, you know, any move we've had. I think there's only one that's been bigger than that. So this is 0.5, this is 0.6. So, you know, if we get a move like that, this is 0.6. So if we're down at 5.5, 5.4, 5.3, 5.2, I think that's already 100% priced in, and the market should just keep doing what it's doing. If there's a knee-jerk reaction to the downside, I'm probably going to think long and hard about potentially using that as a buying opportunity because, you know, at 5.4 or 5.5, and that's what I'm worried about. I think if we get above that, there will be a downward move. If we, you know, if we're at 5.6 or 5.7 or 6, or if we're worse than 6, I think you're going to see us fall off a cliff. Nobody's expecting that. So there is a chance we have a move to the downside. Now, somehow, if miraculously, if this number starts with a 4, I think you can expect everything, including Bitcoin, to be off to the races. But I don't think, I really, you know, and who knows, we don't know until the data comes out, but I feel like that 5.2 to 5.5, that's a pretty big range, and the consensus is not usually off by, you know, significantly more than that. So that's what I'm looking for, and you're going to see the key to that is, so here's, and these numbers are hard to read, but they're down here. Essentially, right now, the market has priced in 69.8, so a 70% chance that the Fed is going to do a 25 basis point rate hike at the May 3rd meeting. So, all, you know, the two things that are on the table are 25% rate hike or no rate hike. So, you know, there's no how much upside. There's no surprise to the upside, and I think there's no surprise to the, I mean, what would it take for the Fed to do more than 25 basis points? I don't think there's any number that CPI could come in at where they would do more than a 25 basis point rate hike. I think if it came in at 7, which is almost not even really feasible, they still can't do that, or this banking situation, there's a tipping point here sooner than later, and, you know, we're teetering on it. So, you know, 50 basis points is off the table. So the question is 25 or 0. We seem to be locked in and priced in to 25 basis points. If we get a surprise to the downside, maybe at 5.2 or 5.0 or 4.8, maybe this starts to lean towards 0, and that would be maybe a nice run up. But I'm looking at this is pretty solid, and these are the only two options, and we've already priced in the worst, if you will, of the two options, by and large, to a 70% extent, and it seems to be hanging around there. Obviously, we're going to know a lot more. CPI data comes out before trading starts in the United States tomorrow. I think 8:30 tomorrow morning we get our CPI number, and we're going to know a lot more. This number is going to adjust immediately and it will bounce around for a little while, but within an hour of that, we're going to see what the market has decided based on adding this latest and greatest CPI data to this. And that's the last most meaningful piece of information prior to the next Fed meeting. There's obviously other data points that come out in the middle. So I think we're going to know better tomorrow, but this is an important thing. You know, if you've got strong feelings one way or the other, that's a trade you have to make today, because this information comes out, and it's actually this information. This comes out before the market opens tomorrow. So if there's a trade you want to put on in anticipation of this, today's the day. What are you thinking, George?
I'm thinking where to go for lunch.
Ha! What's the answer?
I don't know yet. I'm thinking of that potato place. Really like that.
Oh,
We
yeah.
get a potato and the broccoli and the cheese on it.
I like the potato place.
I mean, it's relatively inexpensive. That's what I was thinking.
That's a good spot. I could deal with that. Oh, we got some.
I don't know if anybody else is going to agree with this statement, but I always feel like an idiot when I see the run. You know what I mean? I'm like, I had that stock and I'm out of that stock. I had that stock, I'm out of that stock,
Everybody, hindsight's 20/20, but you're in the market and you're in CleanSpark, and it's not a small position. And that's up 11.25% on my chart, which sometimes lags a minute or two. So, it's up.
I don't want to tell everybody because I don't want them to think I'm an idiot.
No, nobody thinks you're an idiot, George, or maybe they do and I don't.
I got a lot of shares of. Let's put it this way: they asked me to be on the board. I'm joking.
Not ask you to be on the board, but you do have a lot of shares.
Like, sir, nobody besides BlackRock and Vanguard, nobody has a bigger position than you.
I'm afraid the board spots are full. Let's see what this thing says. Oh, yeah, 11%. Riot's up 14%. Iris is up 15%. Those are big movers. Stronghold's almost up 10%. Bitfarms is up over 9%. I will tell you, for me today, I am rooting because I have all those May options. And again, in the big picture, even though I do have a lot of trading Wolf, what's everybody else trading? So, Martin, I don't think CPI is going to kill the run. I don't think it's going to. I don't think it's going to be a surprise. And I'll be surprised by definition if it is a surprise. Eric said Fubo was $64. Now it's $1.24. LOL, demolished. There are a lot of stocks on my watch list that have suffered a similar fate. 64 was ridiculous, but it did run up to that. But it hung around in the 30s, between the 20s and the 30s for a long, long time. And now I just don't see their path. I think they have a fantastic service. They're just not making money. They're the opposite. They're bleeding money, and they're running out. So I don't know how they survive. I like their company. It's a unique business model, and you would think it would have worldwide appeal, but for whatever reason, it's costing them more for content than they can charge for their service. And that, if that's your formula, there's no fixing that.
That is funny. Time zones, LOL. I'm eating breakfast, scrambled eggs, and salmon.
I was
I
just...
don't know. When I eat too much fish, I feel like I get mercury poison.
You just mentally feel that way.
I mean, I don't know if it's true or not.
Oh,
Because I went on a week where I just ate fish. And I was like, oh, I feel so bad.
I don't know whether this is reasonable or rational, but I don't do fish more than twice a week.
Yeah.
So, I love it.
I love it. Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Everything in moderation.
Just, I have fresh fish at home, and I take a spear, and if I can get it, and then I'll eat it.
Where is this fish? In your fish tank?
Yeah. My fish tank.
Let's see. DEFCON 2 Austin, what is their estimate? 5.2%. Yeah, so, I mean, consensus is 5.2% for tomorrow's CPI, if that's what you guys are talking about. Oh, you're specifically looking at what is the Cleveland Fed's estimate. I don't know the answer to that.
So if it closes, if Bitfarms closes over over $1 today, it has 9 days to go.
This would be right. This would be day one again for the third time.
How close has this gotten?
Also, by the way, it did 6 days in a row, then it did 5 days in a row. Those are the 2 runs it took. And by the way, this day's not over, so we haven't closed over $1 yet today. Anything can happen, as we know. So that would be a very important step one. And really, if it gets down to $1.01, $1.02, that, to me, that would be a very disappointing day for Bitfarms. I think they should be finishing between $1.04 and $1.08 today. We'll see what Bitcoin does, but anything less than that, it would be a disappointment in my opinion. MinerDoc saying money to move from Mara and Riot into the smaller microcap stocks. Yeah, I mean, at some point, I would not blame people if they start taking profits on Marathon and Riot, because Riot's now over $12. These run-ups have been massive. We're going to fall short of our goal of having a Wednesday live stream. We're this close. I think FV did 2 super chats. Our goal on our live streams is to get the equivalence of 3 new members, and or the equivalence in super chats. So we're super close today, but we did not get there. We talked about maybe getting on a more regular schedule of live streams. This live stream in the middle of the day, I think people like
Indian food for lunch.
George, you want to head over?
What? Yeah, what, honey?
I'll finish the stream.
PF Chang's. I got outvoted.
Got
outvoted. All right, I'll see you in a little bit.
That's a good one, too.
I'll see you guys. Thanks for watching, everyone.
I'll see you in a while. Thanks, George, for joining us. All right, George signing off for lunch. But I'm still here. Let's see. Organic Auto. Thank God we got alive. Just got here and missed the notification again. Yeah, I don't know. I've been thinking about trying to send not only a notification. It automatically sends a notification, but then I can also send a message to all subscribers. But they only let you do 3 videos / posts / anything in one day. So if I do a message, that counts as one, which I think is ridiculous. Those 2 things are not equal in my opinion. But maybe I'll do that. I feel like so many people don't know the live stream's happening. YouTube is not necessarily spreading the word. FV702 said, smash and like. Come on, guys. We're at 97 likes. Oh, I'm catching up. I'm far behind. How far behind am I? Far behind. Okay, so Austin said that the Cleveland Fed said 5.22. That's their estimate. So Scott Richardson's asking a good question. We're now at a point with Riot and Marathon, I think, where his question is, Tom, would you sell covered calls of Riot? $12 strike for 68 cents that expires on Friday. So that starts to become, you know, a very tempting offer. And I do think we've gone from the point where, you know, I've spent a long time buying call options, but for Riot and Marathon in particular, there's big premiums on their options. So we're getting pretty close to a point where I would consider selling options on them versus I certainly would not buy options on them right now. I would either consider holding them. So that's something I would have to think about. But I wouldn't blame, you know, that might be one of the ways to take profits on Riot, you know, is to get paid weekly on these. If you can get 68 cents, you know, today's Tuesday, and that expires on Friday. That's a very nice return for 3.5 days. So that's definitely, I'm going to be shifting into that mode. I won't be buying anymore. At these levels, I'm not buying any more options for anything. So now the question is, do I do nothing or do I start selling calls? I may start buying some put options. When I say options generically, I usually mean call options, but you know, you should distinguish between the calls and the puts. So for some of these that have had a giant run up, but I don't know that I'm ready to do that either. You know, because you can lose all your profits trying to protect them 1 week at a time by buying puts as well. So I don't think we're at that point yet. We did get to 100 likes. Thank you, everybody. Much appreciated. How close are we to having a stream tomorrow? We're still one. That was phone books on. We're still one either super chat or new member away from having a stream. Tomorrow is the answer to that question. So we are close, but no cigar. Scott Richardson, okay, not financial advice. Put the order in at 70 cents. Nice, good luck. I hope that works. I feel like that's a good trade, but we'll see how it works out. I mean, either way, it's kind of a win-win when you sell these call options. The one time you feel like you lose is if all of a sudden there's a massive move up. But, you know, you can live your whole life worried about that massive move scenario, and you know, you miss out on a lot of money in between. Thanks to the community for the gift of a monthly membership, JR. So, JR, maybe did you get gifted a monthly membership? So, yeah, we have. You can also, if you're a member, you can gift a membership, and it picks somebody at random on the live stream, and they become a member. So that is also something you can do to support the channel. Let's check in on let's end this poll. We got 75 votes, so that's enough, I think, to be decisive. And we got 79%. So Bitcoin's next move. The poll was, are we going up to 35 or are we going to retest 25? 79% think we're going up to 35. So this is an optimistic group. That is what I would pick. I acknowledge that there certainly is a chance we could go retest 25. I think we don't go any lower than that if we have to retest anything. But I do believe the next move is up from here. So I'm with the majority, 79%. 21% think we're going to retest 25,000. So that is certainly a possibility. We'll see what happens. I'm going to end that poll because I think we got more than enough. That's 78 votes. So almost 80% of the people, almost 4/5 of the people think the next move is up. Scott Richardson, thank you for the super chat. No comment, no question. Give us your thoughts, Scott. But thank you very much for the super chat. And I think that gets us to our live stream for tomorrow. So everybody can thank Scott. Nate is saying 40K, then 25K, then the halving, then 250K. All right, Nate. That would be a beautiful thing. Okay. James Ross, who is an existing member, gifted a membership. So let's see who it goes to. It should tell us in the next minute who got that membership. I don't know if you can pick a person or if it's always just at random. So we'll see. I don't know why it hasn't told us that yet. But thank you, James Ross, for gifted one Talkin' Investing membership. Much appreciated. And thank you, Scott. And thank you, if I go back, who else I think gave the other? Yes, FV702, who is both a member and a regular on the live stream and a regular super chatter. So thank you very much for all of that support. Much appreciated. Why won't it tell me who got the membership? Maybe it's not going to tell me. I don't know. James, were you able to gift that to somebody specifically? You don't have to say who it's to. Oh, now it just said so. Mr. J was gifted a membership by James Ross. So welcome, Mr. J, to the Talkin' Investing squad. And James is saying Carlos Jimenez. I don't know if that is Mr. J. Mr. J said, thanks a million. Thank you. So thank you to James Ross. Much appreciated. So you can join us, by the way, Mr. J. We are doing a members-only live stream today after the market closes. So you're welcome to please join us on that live stream as well. And Mr. J said, glad to be part of this great movement. Thank you. Much appreciated. David Baker said, thanks for the poll. It helps my thinking process.
Talkin' Investing.
Enjoyed the live stream. Thank you very much, David. I feel like we get a lot more, you know, I do, and I will still do my deep dives, and I still, you know, we're going to talk about a lot more stuff on this channel. That is my goal. Right now, you know, this is a Bitcoin and Bitcoin miner channel. That's the backbone of our channel, but, you know, almost Bitcoin is to the point where almost any big news affects Bitcoin. So we really got to be looking at the big picture. We talked about this yesterday, which is one of the reasons I wanted to add more of these live streams. I usually come into this with a list of things I'm going to talk about, but I usually don't get to about half of it. So that's okay. We talked about a lot of important stuff today, and we hit the big ones. The biggest one, obviously, was this Cleanspark. So Franco is saying, I'm selling my Cleanspark today. I hope I don't regret it later. All right, so Cleanspark's over $3, and Franco is out. So hopefully, you know, I don't know what your basis is in. Hopefully you are out at a profit. Darren, we'll see you later. See you in the members only live stream. All right, I've got James Ross gifted one membership again. Thank you, James Ross. And let's see. That membership went to Chuck Xavier. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. That's what it looks like to me. Was gifted a membership by James Ross. Thank you so much, James Ross. Nash V said, bought some Cypher today. So let's see what Cypher's doing. Cypher's up 6%, almost 7, 6.69%. And let's just take a quick look at the Cypher chart, because that is one of the big winners on the year this year. And it is one of the two. We talked about this, and last time we looked earlier on the stream, we were in the red just at this green line. So this green line goes back to August of 2022. There are only two Bitcoin miners that are back to where they were last August. All the rest of them are not back here.
Investing.
In fact, for the most part, they're not even close to back here. Most of the Bitcoin miners still need to go up between 75 and 150% just to get back to where they were last August. And I use that as a frame of reference because that is the last time Bitcoin was at $25,000. So we are now at Bitcoin $30,000, well above that. A lot of these companies have made significant improvements, yet their stock lags behind. So I do submit, and we're getting some leverage today. GREE is finally making a big move. It's up almost 19%. Stronghold's up 14%. So these are some big moves. Riot's up 14%. That's a big move. Marathon's up almost 12%. You know, for Riot and Marathon, those are the two large market caps. So those are big, big moves. And Cypher that I'm looking at right here is the third largest market cap. Now, it's a distant third, but it is the third largest market cap. And it's putting distance between the fourth largest, which is HUT. So there's your top four by market cap. And it's no coincidence that three of those four have significant Bitcoin stacks on their balance sheet. So that's a part of the equation of why they're bigger, but it does not solely explain it. And like I said, CleanSpark and Riot, I'm sorry, Marathon and Riot. Let's look at Marathon. So Marathon's at about $1.7 billion according to this, and I can double check this. They do list this on their website in real time or on a 20-minute lag, and Yahoo's been pretty accurate lately, but I can't vouch for their accuracy. But this looks right to me. They're at about $1.7 billion. If I go to Riot, they're just over $2 billion. And then if I go to the Cypher, which is the third largest, so remember that was 1.7 and 2 billion. Cypher's the third largest, and it's at 680 million. So it is much less than half the size of the two that are above it. And it's in third comfortably because the next closest is HUT 8, which is at 433 million. So it's almost 50% bigger than fourth place. So you can see this drops off quickly. And remember, there's 18 of these on my list. So we get from 2 billion all the way down to about $20 million. Let's see where we were talking about any a lot earlier, and I am going to do, I think, for our members, a deep dive on any. So they're at $26 million. I mean, that is still a tiny, tiny, tiny company, but they were lower than that. I'm not sure if they're the smallest. We did have some down in the $10 million range for quite a while this year, so. Biz101 said, I'm sure you talked about CleanSpark news. I missed it. Yes, CleanSpark. So for those who were not here, CleanSpark had a huge announcement today, and much to my surprise, CleanSpark is one of my high conviction plays, so not financial advice, but I've made it crystal clear. I showed everybody my top 8. CleanSpark was my number 2 ranked 2023 Bitcoin mining stock. It has underperformed drastically. As of yesterday, it was up 20% year to date. Today, it's up another 11% on the day. So most of its move on the year has been today. So I'm expecting a lot more room to the upside, but we will see. Time will tell. But they had a huge announcement. They bought 45,000 of the Antminer XPs. So that's $145 million, $144.9 million purchase order. That is a massive purchase order. That, with the 2 exahash that they have already bought and paid for that are not yet delivered and installed, all together is going to get them to 15.9 exahash if they can get all of those paid for, delivered, installed, and up and running. So 16.0 was their goal for the year. They've now carved out a path to get to 15.9. So, you know, I'm not too worried about the 0.1 left if they get there. But it's a lot of money needed between. Whoa. James Ross gifted 20 Talkin' Investing memberships. Thank you, James. And let's see who gets them. Much appreciated, James. Hopefully you're green today and you're making some money. And I appreciate you getting 20 people into the group so they can see what's going on in here. Carlos Jimenez was gifted a membership. So far, that's the only one it's told me, but this does say 20. So did you actually gift 20 memberships? That is extremely generous. So much appreciated. James, who is already a member. Ricky said, what a stud. DEFCON 2 at James Ross. Wow. Yeah, that's awesome, James. Thank you very much. And it's so good for our group as we get more members, because we have a great...
All right, welcome to Talking Investing.
I would say I feel like we have like the best subscribers, and our members are the best of the best. So, we have really good conversations. I get a lot of outstanding suggestions and recommendations from the members, and the members are able to share with each other. And that's what I like about the private Discord with the membership.
Welcome to Talking Investing.
Because our public Discord, I'm glad it's there. We provide a Discord for everybody to talk, but it gets chaotic. There are a lot of trolls on the public Discord. We keep the conversation at a pretty high level in the private Discord, and there's a lot of people with a lot of experience that are sharing their experiences. So, my theory is the more of us that are together here sharing our experiences, the better off we're all going to be as investors and grow over time. So that, I feel like, has been working out, certainly for myself, and hopefully for all of the members feel the same way. Samuel will say live stream every day this week. Yeah, I mean, that 20 member, that's going in the Talking Investing Hall of Fame, James Ross. And we've had several extremely generous people, so I appreciate to all of those who have been generous along the way, and thanks to all the members for making such a great group. We'll have our members only talk in a few hours, really, so I am going to wrap it up in a few minutes because I've got a video to make in the middle and then another live stream for members only at 4:15 Eastern time today. James Ross said yes, that is correct. 20. So let's see if this told us some of the new members. AJ was gifted a membership. Wesley B. Samuel. These are just the ones. Crypto Golfer said James Ross big ballin' today. Just trying to welcome any of the other new members. If I'm missing, I'm just scrolling through to see. That's everyone that I can find. So if you have everybody who's received a new membership, welcome, and you can thank James Ross, who was extremely generous today. I think that's a total of 22 memberships you gave away. So thank you very much. Sandy's Eclipse is saying Stronghold is doing very smart financial engineering by turning debt holders into equity holders. It's a clever move for the company that actually benefits existing stockholders. So I agree with that, and I like Stronghold. That's another one that I might consider doing. I don't think there's a lot of widespread interest in that, but that could be a members-only deep dive. There's some of these that I really want to do deep dives on. I just know that there's... I've even asked and done polls. There's a lack of appetite for a few of these, but I have a feeling that among subscribers and among members, there's a higher level of appetite for some of these smaller Bitcoin mining stock deep dives. So, and I'm doing them anyway on all of them as it is. So, Bitcoin Rules said it's warm in Chicago today. Nash V said, missed you last week, Tom, spending the profits in Vegas. No, I hope you're doubling your profits in Vegas. But I hope you had fun either way. Let's just say that. Samuel is saying, Biz 101, Mara is aiming for 23 exahash. CleanSpark now should be at 16 exahash. Riot at 12.5 exahash. Not sure about Cypher and others, but CleanSpark at second place is huge. So yes, and there are a lot of others, including Riot, that they have not announced their plans. But to put it in perspective, Riot has committed to the 12.5 exahash. Other than the machines that got damaged, they're basically almost there right now. Now, there could be a lot more coming because Riot does have another 1 gigawatt facility in Texas that they haven't even started yet. So I imagine they're not going to start the whole gigawatt at one time. I don't know if they're going to do, 400 megawatts first or whatever the case may be, but that is on the drawing board for them to start by the end of the year this year. So I do think that we're going to see them talk about increasing their exahash fairly substantially in 2024, but they seem content this year to just get up and running, get to the 12.5 exahash. They've also talked about the fact that they want to line things up in a row. They want their infrastructure in place first with power purchase agreements so that when they get the machines, they can plug them in and roll. So there's several companies that do have some more aspirations past that, but if there's one thing that we learned in the year 2022 is, we can't, all these companies I'm sure intend to do, oh, by the way, thank you very much, Brent, for a super chat uranium. I know, Brent, I got to do a uranium video for Brent and for myself because I'm very interested. We did one uranium, and I know that's Brent's area of, I'll say his area of expertise, although it's not financial advice. I'm very interested in some of these uranium plays, so I definitely will be doing a uranium video sooner than later. And thank you, Brent,
All right,
for the
welcome to
super
Talking
chat.
Investing.
All right, for some reason now it's giving. So Crypto Golfer was just gifted a membership. I'm going to mispronounce your first name, so I'm just going to say S
right, welcome to
Dash
Talking
was
Investing.
gifted a membership. Mara breaking $10. Riot breaking $12. Yeah, I mean, they seem to be. If they could hold those levels today, that's pretty impressive. I mean, it was only just 2 days ago that I was saying, man, can Riot get back to that $10 mark? And now they're over $12. So we've got some, but this is a huge run for Bitcoin. I mean, I'm going to go to the 1 day and then I got to wrap it up. But just to put it in perspective, this was the bottom. This was November 22nd, or sorry, November 21st. So 3.5 months ago. We are now up just under 95%. This is Bitcoin. This is not one of the Bitcoin miners. Bitcoin is up 95% in the last 3.5 months. So this is one of those big runs. And, some of these, we don't know where they go. Bitcoin tends to do these anywhere from 100% to 300% move up. Now, at these bigger numbers, I'm not necessarily counting on a 200 or 300% move up, but we're inching in on 100%. That is extremely impressive, and I do think there's room left to the upside. And as do you guys, because we did a poll, and 79% thought the next move was to 35,000. So, go Bitcoin. Seems like we're still moving in the right direction. Let's see. Crypto Golfer said the FOMO is real. Somebody asked, why is Marathon lagging Riot? And I don't, that's always that's a tricky one. If you look at the two of those companies, they have different business models. They're the two largest by far. There was a moment in time this year where Marathon actually jumped ahead of Riot. And actually, most of last year, Marathon was ahead of Riot. Now, for whatever reason, Riot has pulled ahead. I don't know. I suspect they'll trade places over time. So, that's my guess. That's what has happened in the past. They have traded places as the largest market cap many, many times over the last few years. Organic Auto, monumental moves. Bitcoin Rule says, I'm in at 28 with Ryan and no money right now to dollar cost average. So annoyed. Well, all you can do is hope and hold. right now if you've got no money, if there's a way to get any extra cash. Otherwise, I mean, hang on and wait for it. Iris is going ham as usual, says Samuel. Let's take a look at Iris. Yeah, I mean, here we go. Let me switch over to this one. So solid move today and a huge day yesterday for Iris. So, this is just the kind of thing to take a look at. If you look at their, if you caught them at the low over the last 3 days, they are up 47.5% in the last 3 days from their low to right this second. And they're still not back to where they were in February when Bitcoin hit 25,000. So to me, still, this is what I'm saying. Like, so for instance, this still needs to make this run up to get to where we were in February. And then it needs to make this run up to get to where we were last August. So companies like Riot and Cypher have already made both of these runs up, and they're now beyond that somewhere up here. So you can see if Iris was to do the same thing and catch up, you're talking about potentially somewhere close to 100% move to the upside, between 80 and 100% move to the upside if they were to catch up on price action to what Cypher and Riot are doing. So we'll see, but obviously today everybody's got to be happy. It's at 18% right now, so super strong day. So I'm going to wrap it up on a positive note. It looks like, let's go to the 15-minute time frame. So we're hanging out. We kind of had a little 15-minute candle down and then right back up. We've been hanging around. We're at 30,175. We've been very close to 30,200 all morning this morning. If we can hold there, I'm hoping we can close today. We can close with the equity markets with Bitcoin certainly above 30,000 is very important in my opinion. Above 30,200 would be nice. And then let's see if the next leg is up. So thank you again to everybody. Special thanks to James Ross for 22 gifted memberships. And obviously special thanks to all of the existing members and subscribers. For the members, I'll be back on in like 4 hours. So members only live stream at 4:15. Looking forward to seeing you guys there. And hopefully we have a great rest of the day. Thanks so much for joining us on the live stream.